South Jersey has a lot of roads. And if you live down here, you know that you can get stuck in traffic on some of them a lot of the time. But when you're stuck in traffic, you probably don't even realize how historically significant some of these roads are. Some of them carried Revolutionary War soldiers. Some of them carried rum runners. They carried stagecoaches full of money. And they carry you and me sitting in our cars during traffic, during rush hour. But there's roads down here that are older than your town. They're older than your county. And heck, they're older than the United States. The last one I'm going to talk about today in South Jersey just played an enormously significant role in New Jersey becoming a state. So today I'm going to break down the most historically significant and important roads here in South Jersey. And I'm also going to talk about how they got their names because some of them just have silly sounding names, but trust me, there is in fact a reason behind it. For road number one, we're going to head to the shore, what is often considered the original coastal highway. No, not the one in California. New Jersey had one too. This is kind of the pre-Garden State Parkway, if you will. It's Route 9, and this road dates all the way back to the 1700s. It connected shipbuilders, whalers, and fishermen between tiny bayside towns that are still around today, like Absecon, Summers Point, Tuckahoe, Cape May Courthouse. And believe it or not, there's some parts of Route 9 that actually are still on the same exact footprint that they were about 300 years ago. But how did Route 9 get its name? So when New Jersey created its highway system in the 1920s, this old coastal path, which was originally called Old Shore Road, just got simply renamed to State Highway Route 9. There's actually no real reason behind it, which is kind of a bummer. But I have a question for you guys. What decade do you think Route 9 officially became a state highway? Do you think it was the 1900s, the 1910s, the 1920s, or the 1930s? The correct answer is C, the 1920s. That's when New Jersey started its state highway system. All right, the second road that we're going to talk about is the infamous Route 130. Feels like there's always construction going on over there. So Route 130 is one of South Jersey's oldest commercial routes. Long before highways, GPSs, or bridges. This one dates back to the 1700s when farmers, merchants, and craftsmen would haul goods north along this road. They were heading to the Delaware River ferry docks. And from there, everything shipped straight over to Philadelphia's booming market. You know, the town where the country was founded. So these cities, these towns, Burlington, Riverton, Cinnaminson, Delanco, almost every river town owes its economic originality to this road, to US 130. And that's why this road really cuts right down the heart of a lot of these towns. And they are booming. There's a lot of shopping, activities right along Route 130. And dates all the way back to before we were even a country. But how it got its name. So obviously Route 130 is not its original name. Its original name is River Road. And you can probably take a guess why it's called River Road. And if you couldn't, it's because it runs right along the Delaware River. And here's a question for you guys. So there are some homes along Route 130 that are still original. Maybe not to the 1700s, but some that date back to the 1800s, early 1900s. And they have their original gas street lamps, which is pretty cool. So the question is, how many pre-1900 buildings do you guys think still sit along Route 130? Do you think it's around 25, around 50, around 75, or around 100? The answer is going to be around 100. In fact, it's over 100. There are some really old buildings along Route 130, and they still stand today. Road number 4. I think the name of this one is so cool. Delsea Drive. So also known as Route 47. It is actually New Jersey's longest north-south state highway, and it's a giant piece of the region's industrial history. So in the 1800s and the 1900s, glass workers in Glassboro, which if you've never put that together, Glassboro got its name from the abundance of glass that was actually built there or burned there, because glass is really sand that gets burnt and formed. Anyway, I go off on a tangent. So in the 1800s and 1900s, glass workers in Glassboro, farmers in Vineland, and factory laborers in Millville all depended on this road to haul its goods, its materials, its products. And entire industries grew up along this border. So how did Delsea Drive get its name? So the original concept with Delsea Drive was to provide a route between the Delaware and the sea. So you take Delaware, and sea, get Delsea. Take a little bit of both. I think that's so cool. So Delaware to sea became Delsea. I think that's really interesting. And in the late 1800s, Vineland's founder used this road to ship agricultural products nationwide, helping put us on the map as the actual Garden State. So quick question for you guys. In addition to Glassboro, what other town in South Jersey had a booming glass industry? You have Salem, Vineland, Millville, or Mullica Hill. So the answer is Salem. Salem actually had a booming glass industry up until about the 1950s. It was the #1 glass manufacturer in the entire country. Pretty interesting. Number 3, the White Horse Pike, Route 30. So the White Horse Pike started in the early 1800s as a stagecoach route. It connected Camden to the shore. And then when automobiles arrived, this became one of New Jersey's first major paved car highways. So it fueled the growth of the towns along it: Berlin, Atco, Hamilton, Egg Harbor City. All of these towns started to boom because the White Horse Pike started to give them opportunities to be close to Camden, be close to the shore, be close to Philadelphia. So how did it get its name? The White Horse Pike. So it's named after the famous White Horse Tavern. It was originally a stagecoach stop. Before road signs existed, travelers navigated by tavern names and symbols. And White Horse Tavern was really popular in South Jersey. But I have a question for you guys, and it leads us to our next road. What came first, the White Horse Pike or the Black Horse Pike? The Black Horse Pike came first. The Black Horse Pike dates back to the 1790s, which makes it older than most of the towns that it runs through. It served as a major freight route for wagons heading to Philadelphia, and later it became one of the earliest shore routes before the Atlantic City Expressway was built. So how did this one get its name? Well, like the White Horse Pike, this one got its name from the Black Horse Tavern. Like I said before, tavern symbols and names usually helped navigators, pioneers, merchants, anyone traveling to find their way. So the Black Horse Tavern for the Black Horse Pike, and the White Horse Tavern for the White Horse Pike. So I have a question for you guys. Before the Atlantic City Expressway was created, how long do you think it took to get from Camden to Atlantic City on the Black Horse Pike in the 1920s? About 45 minutes, about an hour 45, or over 2 hours? So cars didn't move as quick back then, and there were still wagons on the road. So for anyone who did have an automobile, it took them over 2 hours to get from Camden to Atlantic City. And yes, there still are some days where it does take over 2 hours, but hopefully they don't happen all the time. It's frustrating when they do happen, though. A Friday in the summer, well over 2 hours. And finally, road number 1, the road that changed everything in South Jersey. This one, built in the 1600s, King's Highway. It was commissioned under King Charles II of England, and it was part of a massive road system. The original plan was to go all the way from Boston down to Charleston, and this section still remains in South Jersey. It runs through Swedesboro, Haddonfield, Cherry Hill, and it's where some of the most important moments for the state's history actually happen. So how did it get its name? Well, you can probably guess. It was officially the colonial highway under the English King's authority, but then as it expanded and as it grew, it just became King's Highway. So the coolest thing about this is right here in Haddonfield, where I'm filming this video, in 1777, New Jersey turned from a colony to a state at Indian King Tavern, which is still on Kings Highway today. It's now a museum. But I have a question. How long do you think the original Kings Highway was? Remember, the one that traveled Boston to Charleston, or at least that was the plan. There were some breaks along the way. About 500 miles, 900 miles, 1,300 miles, or 2,000 miles. Correct answer is 1,300 miles, which in the 1600s and the 1700s, that was a lot of work. You know, it's very tough for roads to get built today for a new neighborhood. Imagine 1,300 miles by horse. So next time you're sitting in traffic or complaining about a pothole on one of these roads, just think to yourself, wow, these roads are really old. I should cut them some slack. Some of these roads date back to the 1600s, 1700s. South Jersey's very old. There's some very old spots down here. And I think that's awesome because it shows that there's a lot of historical significance in South Jersey. If you guys are looking for a home or if you're looking to sell your home, please don't hesitate to reach out to me and my family. We've helped hundreds and hundreds of buyers and sellers throughout the years, and you could be next. Really, I would really appreciate it if you guys could hit that like button. Comment down below any other cool roads that you want to find out what the history of, and please subscribe to the channel. Really trying to grow it, do a video a week for you guys, and this is part of a new series about the history of South Jersey. And as always, thanks for watching.
Thanks for making it to the end of the video. Please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and please leave a comment below. And if you like this video, you might like this one right up here. Don't forget to subscribe.